Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is how to dye your bundles jet black. We're using 326" from my hair collection in the texture loose deep. Also HD frontal 22 inches. If you guys are interested in placing an order, all the information is in the description below. Also, you're going to need 4 boxes of the Revlon COLORSILK permanent hair color. I would say a box for each bundle. You're going to need a container or a mop bucket. You're going to mix all developer and all color in this container. Now, after you mix it, it's going to be white and you're going to let it process until it turns black. I would say about 10 minutes, 15. Okay, now the color has processed for about 10 to 15 minutes. You're going to put hot water in the container. You just want to put enough hot water to cover your bundles and it can move around freely, but you also don't want to put too much water where you still want it to be concentrated with colors. So make sure you don't put too much water where it dilutes the color. So I would just say enough to cover your bundles and for the bundles to move freely. Now, I dyed the frontal off camera. If you guys want, I can show you a descriptive video on how to dye your frontal. I like to touch the roots by hand using a color brush because sometimes you can stain the lace when you just water dye it. So I stretch the color out about, I would say halfway down, and then I just dip the rest in the water dye. I would always say dye your frontal or closure first in the water dye because it takes up less color. Once you put the bundles in, it's going to soak up all of that color. So if you dye the bundles first and then dip your frontal or closure in, it may not get black enough. The closure or frontal is it's not a lot of hair, so it doesn't take too much color. That's why you dye it first. So now that I've washed the frontal and put it aside, I'm going to put all 3 bundles in at the same time. I don't suggest putting them in one by one because whichever one goes first, it takes up all of the color. So just dump everything in at the same time. But if you're using curly hair, I would suggest brushing it out before you dump it in. Okay, once you dump it in, you're gonna take your comb or whatever you want to use. Just kind of let it marinate in there. You can actually it dyes in minutes, honestly, but sometimes I just let it sit for 20 or 30 minutes just so I don't really have to work it in. I just let the water basically do the job. So if you let it soak, you don't really have to, you still want to move it around, but if you let it soak, it's gonna catch everywhere. So I would say let it process for 20 minutes. I mean, less if you're in a rush, but if you have time, you can let it sit for 20 minutes. This is me just working in the color before I let it sit. Okay, now that we let it sit, we're gonna wash our bundles and condition it. I would suggest using silicone mix. Silicone mix conditioner works great with bundle hair, brings back that silkiness. You can let it air dry, especially if you're using curly hair. You'll naturally get the curl pattern back. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope it was very informative. If you guys would like to see more hair tutorials like this, just leave comments below. So this was the final outcome on my client. She loved her hair. Like, she was in love with her baby hairs. As you can see, her hair is jet black. If you guys are interested in booking an appointment, I also work in Atlanta once a month, and I'm based in New York. Make sure to follow me on my hair page and also follow me on my personal page. See you guys next time.